Okay, Dart Whiz, here we are. Thought I would show a beautiful gem that I picked up recently. Shout out to the guy that I picked this up off of. I've been meaning to pick this up for years, and it's always been one that's eluded to me. And I got this for a really good deal, about 100 Canadian even, which I think is, probably like 75, 60 American dollars. And I think that's probably where the market is right now. But on eBay, probably double that at least, not including shipping and everything else. So you can find quite a few deals. The condition on the box, I would say, is probably about a good 80-85. But here it is, the Empire Strikes Back Imperial TIE Fighter. I think this one came out around 2010. And I absolutely love this. It's a beautiful display item. Just in box, this one's unopened. So I'm going to show you with the classic, how they harkened right back to the original by putting the original or sort of modern pictures, the same style, which I think is great. If they do this one again, perhaps the proper, more closer to scale version. But look at that. This side has a lot more legalese on it. You can kind of see there. There's a good Vader. Beautiful, eh? I just love the box art. This is beautiful too. You know, Obi-Wan Kenobi there. Not exactly Empire Strikes Back picture, but you know, it's in the idea. The wings pop off, you know, sort of that play feature. But a very beautiful, and as you can see, the box is pretty damn, I would say 80, 85. So I'm gonna get some wrapping to put this on, and eventually I'll get some acrylic for it, or maybe just some sort of case. Would be great. I think there's GW Acrylics does something in the UK. Sort of a thinner acrylic would be kind of nice, or just sort of a plastic case to protect them. Anyways, since I'm doing Empire Strikes Back, I'd get out a nice Bespin Luke Skywalker there with his blaster and yellow lightsaber. But you can kind of see there, pretty damn good condition too. There's a Hong Kong variant. I have to double check. And of course, here's Vader and some of his TIE Fighter pilot. They've got Luke beat. Death Star commanders. Not bad condition on these ones. You know. Shout out to Rick. Some of these I picked up some of these off of him. I've kind of mixed them up. I forget which ones were his, and now, you know, figures that I've had for years and that. So I've got tons of them. But good condition. I think the ones I did pick here happen to be all his. The Bespin Luke is actually from him as well. The Vader too, and I think the Imperial officers here, two of the ones that I picked out anyways. There's a couple others. Had some AT-ST drivers too, I think I got off them, but there's the Vader, not bad. Vinyl cape is really good. Not a good idea taking the vinyl capes off though. I know a lot of guys do that, but man, you can kind of tear them real easily. I remember tearing mine as a kid when I took it off. I forget what the reason was, but I remember doing that and instantaneously regretting it. Shout out to, oh good Lord, Derek there at Noble Toys. He's got 2 locations. He's starting to do more online stuff, and I think that'd be great, especially if he starts really sort of mastering the whole getting back into the Star Wars there. He used to be really big in the community. It's got some knuckle rub here on the feet, sort of common. But you know, the emblems are really good on the figures, so it's got the correct blaster. I don't think that's a repro. But another shout out to Fourth Moon Toys when you really want to make sure your figures are not reproduction. I would, you can trust him to give you probably like a 99% success rate. And another great channel to go to, pardon me, Facebook is Rogue 5 Toys. Chris Wheelaminister, he's the man. I bought indirectly off him. I've started my own little Build-A-Box with them, which I'm going to start doing. Because, when you have guys like that, they deal with it all the time, and you're paying for their expertise. So, there's also Big Daddy. You'll find him on there. He started up too. Another good. But the problem with those guys, for me, is those guys are in the U.S. and the Canadian dollar right now is like 66 cents. So buying American is just getting more and more difficult. And then when you have import fees and everything, and if I bought this online, this TIE Fighter, you're looking like double the price plus shipping. Maybe you get hit with import fees. Canada, economically speaking, and, I can just pick up things locally. So, but I do like buying from guys like that in the community that are making a huge, impact. And, you just get piece by piece and slowly it comes along. So anyways, I haven't abandoned TVC. If you look through my Craptastic channels back in the day, eventually I'll do a full overview kind of most of the vehicles I have in box. That's how you take your 90 plus figure into an 85. There are little nicks and scratches over time, but nonetheless, I forgot what the heck I was going to say. Anyways, I am concentrating on TVC. Got a lot of TVC to come. Got a lot of Kenner. I'm starting to rebuild the collection, so it's piece by piece, takes time. And I did do vehicle reviews sort of in the past, but I'll do a lot better ones in the future. But you got guys like Only One Kenobi and Mando number 5, Keith Guppy. Like those guys are just, those guys have been collecting for a long time, especially Keith Guppy. He's got almost everything. And it just shows you how amazing the modern lines are. And yeah, I absolutely love classic Kenner. That's my bread and butter. But, I've noticed a lot of the newer generation, they tend to get really hardcore about certain parts of collecting, whether it's Black Series or TVC. It's almost like they sound like they're in a sort of a bit of a cult for a while, or they get really hooked on it. And I understand it. Especially when you're just trying to justify and focus on certain areas of the collecting. But for me, I like to get everything. And the last 25 years, 30 years, we've had some amazing stuff come out. Not only just in the TVC, and I'll show some other items throughout various other lines, including Power of the Force, 1995, Power of the Force 2. It was great that we had Star Wars came back, and, the market was always there for it. And it just proved it. Unfortunately, the figures were not what we wanted. What we wanted was, closer to this, but realistic molds. That was really where the market was. But, Power of the Force got everything going. And as the Power of the Force line developed, the collector community eventually, spoke to Hasbro, wrote into Hasbro, told their employees. I was one of them. At the time, and but we kind of, I have to be fair, I did sort of abandon it, and there were tons of gems out there where it's the expectations were, I think, were beyond really what we're getting now is what I really wanted as far as the quality of the figures. But you got to think about the economics behind it. So, but I love the history of it. I love the fact that you can just, for me, it's not just nostalgia. I like the new and the old. And there's the history of what's just happened in the last 3 or 4 years. You got to make new memories. Just the journey of picking this up. And he had a few other items of picking up this TIE Fighter. He had a Queen Amidala TVC 1.0, and it was kind of beat up, and he had an Obi-1 that was a little beat up, but I know they're probably going to they're going to do a re-release on that Obi, and I'll have a next review. We'll cover that, because I also have a few other TVC prequel trilogy finally, so I'll put some of that in there. But I just said, you know what, hold on to some of those for another 5 years, and you can retain your value. You know what I mean? Otherwise, I said I'd give you $10 for the figures. Well, they were on card, right? But the cards were beat up. I think he wanted 90 on the Revenge of the Sith Obi, and I don't know, like 30 or something on the Amidala. But the card was beat up. I'd be like, I don't know, I'd give you like $10, and I just said, you know what, just hold on to it for another 5 years, and it will go back up in value, right? But anyways, he already gave me what I found a great deal, and this is excellent condition, perfect for grading. So I'm gonna get some bubble wrap on this, and I'll put these back on my little shelf for time being. But there it is. Anyways, I'm ranting. This is sort of a long view, just discussing my journey. I really should start recording some of these and really go crazy with my YouTube, but I don't know, guys. I just don't really have the time. It's enough. I have enough time to collect and make a live a live record, or make a recording and then put it right on YouTube. And hopefully this gives you guys some pointers. Patience is a key thing. You just get piece by piece, and I know how it is. I want to splurge, I want to go out there and just spend everything, because there's so much good stuff that's come out in the last, from the Legacy collection, Power of the Jedi, the year 2000, 2001 line. I'll have a few pieces of that coming. Power of the Force thing that I picked up as well. I got a bunch of Kenner to show. So lots of stuff coming up on my channel, just to give ideas out there. Shout out to my buddy Lack. Start keep picking up stuff. Add into the collection. Pick up some vintage Kenner. I know you were born later, but you should get a few pieces in there. You got some really nice stuff. But it's a journey. If you just keep going at it piece by piece, like, you'll get there, and you'll get the things that you want. And there it is. So lots of great product that's come out over the decades, and it all has significance. I've seen somewhere in the community, some guys are like, oh, Hasbro, all it is a corporation. Guys, if you knew all the true stories about Kenner and how they ran their employees back then, and the labor laws that were back then, in the late 70s and 80s, and the sweatshops basically in Mexico or Hong Kong, like, a lot of you guys, it's a bit of the nature of the beast, and obviously I'm not I know there's, you look at some of the CEOs, they're still making money while the company's not doing well and laying off employees. I get all of it, guys, but nonetheless, we're getting some amazing sculpts, more TVC to come, more Kenner, more stuff in the whole history of collecting. So much cool stuff out there. Get out there. Pick up, even if it's 1 or 2 figures. If you're sitting on the fence, you don't have a lot of money, or you got to buy a house. I was talking to one of my buddies, consider him a friend. He said, hey, I got to buy a house, got to get a truck, got to do this. 1 figure a month. That's all it is. Because, if you start today, obviously priorities are first. Kids, family, college, you got to pay for whatever. Savings, all that stuff is extremely important. But if you start today, don't do what I did. And I said, I'm just going to put it completely off for like 15 years for the most part. And I completely stopped. And then I was just like, whoa, I just missed out on a decade and a half. And now it's like 10 times harder. So you start today, and you can get that collection, and, do what you got to do. Quit smoking, maybe, if you're a smoker. Cut down on the pubs. It's going to kill you anyways. A lot of us are in our 40s and 50s. If you want to live into your 70s, 80s, you partied a lot, and you're, back in the 90s and that, you got to take a break from all that stuff, right? So there it is. Anyways, I'm rambling, ranting. I don't know if I'm even going to post this. It's too much of a rant. But get out there and get some beautiful items. It's everywhere. Facebook, up here in Canada, Kijiji as well has been a great tool for me. You can Google these things, check them out. You'd be amazed what's out there. There's tons of stuff. People always have doubles and triples of these items just sitting in their closets, and you know that's why we keep getting Kenner finds. They keep coming out for a lot of guys that are big time collectors that have only really been doing it for the last 10 or 15 years. You know, I remember how it was in the 90s and early 2000s, and there's tons of this stuff out there, man. And it's the greatest IP of all time, at least the original 3 movies, and you had some great stuff since then too. So to be honest, but there it is, Darth Wiz. Get out there, do it, collect, make it happen.